Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my October reading wrap-up. So I read 8 books this month and I'm quite proud of that. I haven't read 8 books in a month in a while, so I'm very excited to be talking about all the books that I've read. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so for the first week of October, I read only romance books for a video, for a YouTube video. If you guys want to see that, it's reading romance books for a week. And the first book that I read that week was Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I absolutely love this book. If you guys want the full review, then go ahead and watch that video. But this was a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. It was definitely a good book, a good start to the series. I still have to read book 2 and 3, but this book is about Naomi and Knox. This is a small town romance, enemies to lovers, a lot of like banter back and forth. There's also a single parent trope, and it's also kind of like the main character being protected by the male character, because the main character Naomi has like a very crazy sister, and that's kind of like the plot and the problem of the story. But overall, it was a cute book. I love the enemies to lovers at the beginning. The writing style is one of my favorites. It was so funny at times. I love the main character and like her personality, and I loved reading from that perspective. But it also has both perspectives, so it has Naomi's and Knox's. So you have both POVs and you get that story, which is so cool. The only thing that I remember that I didn't quite like about this book was that the main male character at the end like took so long to figure out that he actually was in love and actually like cared for Naomi, you know what I mean? And we didn't really get a lot of like them as a couple, which I would have like preferred a few more pages, like reading like the happily ever after, but it was okay. It was entertaining. It was a bit chunky, like these are chunky as hell. It's a lot of pages for a romance book. However, I did read it really quickly. Like the writing style is very easy to read, so I didn't have problems with that. But yeah, overall it was a good book, 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I cannot wait to read about Nash in the second book. Okay, the next book that I read was Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I absolutely love this book. This is such a beautiful book. Like, it's definitely one of my favorites of the year. Like, this is a solid 5-star read. This is just the most wholesome book I've read in a while, like wholesome and cute, and like both characters are so cute with each other, and it's just adorable. I loved it so much. So it's a accidental pregnancy trope right from the beginning. So we get the like one night stand from the main 2 characters, and then the main female character finds out that she's pregnant, and then comes the story, like the entire story of how like they go about that and how they become like friends, and then obviously friends to lovers. And it was just so cute, but the entire story is just adorable. So I definitely recommend this book. It's so cute. Then I read another romance book, but this is like the opposite of Out on a Limb, because this one is spicy as hell. Like I haven't read a book this spicy in a long time, and it was very good. Safety Measures by Maybe Hazel. Thank you so much for sending me your copy. I literally love this book cover. It's so pretty, and the book was amazing. So this is a childhood best friends to lovers. This is an actual childhood best friends to lovers. Like, there's no in between. You know, when most of the time childhood best friends to lovers, it's like they were childhood best friends, then they kind of like separated because they had a big fight, like they parted ways, and then like years later they reunite. No, this is actually like childhood best friends, and right after that lovers. Like, it was so cute, and they're also neighbors, so we get that story as well. But it's definitely like a heart-wrenching story at the same time. Like, it's spicy, it's cute, you have the romance, but it's also heart-wrenching because we have like an underlying issue. I almost sobbed like the ending. Oh my gosh, you guys need to read this book. I loved it so much, and that was a 4.8 out of 5 stars. Okay, after I had my romance week, I went on a 2-week trip and I didn't read a single book. However, when I came back home, I did do a video, like I think my last video, yeah, reading spooky books for a week. So I literally just read 4 thriller books in a week. So the first one that I read was The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the first book of the Natural series. This book was so good. Oh my gosh. Also, if you guys want the full review, full experience of me reading the books, then go ahead and watch the reading spooky books for a week video. But oh my gosh, I was glued to the pages with this book. Like, it had been a while that a book had me like so just captivated, and I just cannot put it down, and I just wanted to know what happened. This is just so good. It's a serial killer murder mystery, but make it the main character has like a gift where she is really good at profiling people. So she can read people very easily, and she gets spotted by the FBI and put into like a program for gifted teens. So she's not the only one. There's other people that can do other things. They have other abilities, such as like there's a human lie detector. Another girl is like genius at like math and numbers and probabilities and all that stuff. There's another profiler, and there's another guy that can read emotions. Like, it's a whole team. So they try to close cold cases, but it turns into another direction because there's like an underlying issue going on here. There's a serial killer on the loose, and at the end it does not end in a cliffhanger, but there's kind of like the underlying issue that hasn't been resolved. So I'm guessing that with the other books that I'm going to read this month, probably, that the issue is kind of like solved. And I know what happened, but oh my gosh, this book was so good. It's gonna have you like literally nervous, sweating, but in a good way. Okay, after I read The Naturals, the second book that I read for the video was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This book was also so good. And keep in mind, I mostly read these books in a day. Like, these are fast-paced, you are never bored. So this is about a girl that's doing her capstone project, high school capstone project, and she chose a local girl's murder. So it's kind of like a cold case at this point. It's an unresolved murder because they never really knew who killed that person. So 5 years after the murder, this girl starts to interview people about what happened, and she interviews people. She goes to different locations to try to figure out what happened. It gets dangerous, but at the end she finds out what happens, and I love this book. I love murder mysteries because it has me guessing. Like, I thought the serial killer was one person and the other, and then another, and then another, and I'm never right. But that's the fun part, right? And I gave this book 4.8 out of 5 stars. Okay, after that one, I read The Silent Patient, which was also part of the video. And if you guys watched the video, you know that this book was not my cup of tea. I did not like this book at all. I gave it like 2.5, maybe 3, but it was just not for me. Like, the story was so slow. Like, nothing really was happening, and then the whole story starts being so confusing, and I was just confused the entire time. The timeline was very confusing as well. There is a plot twist at the end. I didn't really like it because I was just like, really? Like, that was it? Like, so this is about a psychologist that gets a job at a like a mental hospital for basically criminals that are mentally ill. And there's this one woman that killed her husband. She literally just shot him in the face a bunch of times. And the thing is that she did that, but she never spoke again. Like, she did all of that and she didn't utter a word after that. And 6 years went by, and then this psychologist, which is the guy, the main male character of the story, comes to the mental hospital that this woman is at and starts to like treat her and try to figure out what really happened and why she hasn't talked in 6 years. The story was good. It had a lot of potential. That's why I read the synopsis and thought the story was going to be so good, but it wasn't. So it was just not my cup of tea, sadly. And then I started to look at like thriller TikTok videos, recommendations, because I wanted a good book after that one. And thank God I did find a TikTok video. There was this girl who was reviewing A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham and said that this was like a 5-star read. So obviously, immediately I picked it up. I have my book of the month cover, which I love, and I started to read this book, and yes, I loved it. I loved it so much. This was a 4.8 out of 5 stars. This follows the main character, Chloe Davis. She is a psychologist, but she has like a very dark past. her and her brother have a very dark past because when she was 12 and her brother was 15, their father was convicted of murdering 6 girls, like teenage girls. Basically, he got taped as a serial killer, but the thing was is that it was very weird that they never found the girls' bodies. At the 20th anniversary of the murder, girls start going missing again, like one by one, and she starts freaking out. She has like very bad anxiety because of all of that, and she has like a very protective brother, her brother, and she now has a fiance, and there are so many suspects and they are trying to find out who is now the serial killer, because who is now murdering young girls. So it's like 2 underlying issues that come together, and I loved the like murder mystery. I did not know who the serial killer was. I had no idea. Like I thought it was one person and then I thought it was the other one, and I was so wrong, like both times. And then the actual serial killer is mentioned and my jaw dropped to the floor. And the last book that I read in the month of October, which you guys don't hate me, I don't have a rating yet for this book. I am not sure what I'm gonna rate this book. Like I really don't know. I finished it yesterday. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book of the ACOTAR series, and I have ranted about this book on my TikTok like too many times. This book was so nerve-wracking and frustrating and annoying. I don't know, like I was so annoyed when I was reading this book. I was gonna do a whole reading vlog for you guys, reading the entire ACOTAR series. I literally started the vlog. I like filmed for you guys my whole experience reading the book, and I just felt so like nervous and my anxiety was through the roof yesterday that I decided I was not going to pick up the second book. Like I literally do not want to experience that again, and I just feel like it's going to get worse because obviously this is only the first book. Like imagine the 3rd, 4th, 5th, I don't know, like I cannot go through that again. And as I said many times, I am not saying this book is bad because it is not. Like the story is good, it's there. It was just not a nice experience. So I really don't know what I'm gonna rate this book yet. I will let you guys know. So you guys, those were all the books that I read in the month of October. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys have some new recommendations. And stay tuned because I have a November TBR video coming up soon that's gonna be so cool. So stay tuned. I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting, but I'm so excited. So make sure to subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos. And I will see you guys Friday, probably Friday. I love you. Bye.